I grew up in my neighborhood skateboarding. I was the weird kid. And then I wanted to sell drugs. People would fight me and they would joke with me because they were like, why aren't you being yourself? More than anything, it's like that Kendrick Lamar line. It's like, you ain't got a lot to kick it, my nigga. Like, niggas will like you more if you are that corny dude and you are solid and authentic in yourself than if you trying to be another nigga. Period. I think it's hard for black men especially to talk about depression because we have so many cool words available to us to undermine how we really feel, you know? Like a couple years ago, I was having some suicidal thoughts and depression, so I checked myself into a psych unit, and I know you guys are looking at me like, Jordan, but you're so handsome and well put together, but you know what they say, black don't crack, only psychologically. I got out of the psych unit and a friend of mine was like, are you okay, man? Is everything all right? But I had so many cool words available to me. I was like, yeah, I was just tripping. But I wasn't just tripping. I had a severe mental breakdown. If anything, I might have been bugging, but I wasn't tripping. Rich, black, poor, whatever, authenticity, I think, is important to black people because self-preservation and self-care is very important to our identity. If we don't have that, we don't have anything.
I think for so long when it comes to authenticity in the black community, authenticity is coded language for have you suffered enough?
In this country, being black, we really care about our identity because it's something that they've been trying to strip away for so long.
There's a huge social and cultural maze that black people have had to be in that are unlike any other ethnic group in the country. And we're still grappling with that, too.
A lot of our stuff comes from what we've been through, what we think about what we've been through, how we feel about what we are going through, and then what are we gonna go through next and how do we change it?
As black people, I think we haven't had the luxury of being inauthentic. We were naked when we were sold.
When I was a kid, I'd just sit in my room and read encyclopedias, which is not a kid you want to talk to, you know? I read a lot of history books, you know, just sitting in my room, read a lot of world history, American history, Southern history, because I grew up in Louisiana, I just wanted to know. And one of the things I read that's always tripped me out, right, is that, like, after the Civil War, they let the slaves go. But the slaves still lived in the South. So you probably ran into your ex-slave, like, all the time. Which has got to be the most awkward ex-run-in in history. Just like, oh my God, there he is. Don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. Hey! How are you doing? Are you mad? Like, that's, what else?
In a weird way, you know, plantation owners were such pimps that 300 years later, we're all trying to decide if we're the real version of the thing they invented.
The people that have questioned my blackness the most have been black people. And I think we sort of internalize a lot of the messages we get. So I think it was the same thing back then is where we internalized, like, this is what black people do. If you are black, you do this. And if you don't do this, then you're not black, and why would we support you?
This was the worst, when they started targeting Dare commercials specifically at black people. Perhaps this predominantly white audience also remembers that. They do the same thing with all of our commercials. Y'all know it. They add hip hop. That's always our commercial. It's the same commercial y'all get, but then there's a motherfucker breakdancing. Like, crack, hell no, dog, not no more. And it's so condescending, and I hate it, because here's why. Because it presumes that all black people are the same, that we're just this homogenous group that's easily enticed by hip-hop, and we're not. We're as diverse and complicated as any of you. Look, one of my favorite things to do in the world, absolute favorite things to do in the world, I like to get myself a medium cup of frozen yogurt, right? Medium, I'm not greedy. A medium cup of frozen yogurt, and I like to sit at home and I watch YouTube videos of people getting engaged. Thank you. That's my shit. I do it for hours. Hours of just eating yogurt and having a nice cry and enjoying love. Afterwards, I'll like look myself in the mirror and I'll be like, yo, son, you a real ass nigga. And that's not in those commercials. Wipe your tears, dog. We good. We got a big day ahead of us.
What I find interesting is I see so many memes about your black is beautiful or everybody's black is different or, embrace diversity and all kinds of wonderful shit. But then when it comes to it, only certain type of black is accepted.
Some people may consider me not to be authentic. My parents have been married for 40 years. My grandparents have been married for 65. Me and my brother, same parents. My brother goes to Yale. I went to NYU. Like, I never got raped. I never did weed doesn't really count. But, I've never really had, super hard obstacles. Of course, I was teased. I was overweight as a kid. I was bullied. I didn't have a lot of friends. But does that really compare to someone else who's I don't know my parents and I grew up in a dumpster? Are they more authentically black than I am?
To me, that's what frustrates me at times, because I've been told that I wasn't the right type of black. If somebody tries to call me African American, I'll correct them. I'll tell them I'm Trinidadian American. I've had people ask me, so you have a problem being black? No, it's just that my father is a 5'6" Indian man. There's no problem. It's just that I came from his nutsack. That's what it is.
The neighborhood I grew up in was predominantly black, but they hated Africans. I wasn't a kid that just figured out how to be cool. I would study my peers, and I think that's why I became a comedian. I'm Rwandan. I moved here in the late 80s with my family, but my mom moved here and she was already in her late 20s, early 30s. You know what I mean? She's been through a lot, racism, xenophobia. She was pregnant with my siblings when we came, but she's endured all of that, which is so much strength and grace. But she raised me in the West End weekly, I'll call her, and I'm like, Mom, I wake up Sandy's morning and I do no work. It's gross, how dare I, but she's so supportive, she's a great mom, a devoted Catholic. She's always like, oh no, have you prayed? And I'm always like, I'm agnostic, so maybe. She f***ing hates that joke. But you know who does love it? God. And I know that because I'm not dead yet.
I didn't feel with people, no matter the color, how I felt when I was alone. My family pulled together money to send me to a Montessori school for elementary. I went to a Catholic junior high and high school, and I went to a private college. So I've been surrounded by white people my whole life when I was educated, and surrounded by black people when I went home or in my neighborhood or wherever. So I've bridged this gap before.
Ever since I was a kid and my voice changed, I've been told by people all over the country, people of different ethnicities, backgrounds, I've been told by people that I have an incredibly white voice. That's what they say. And people try to act like they can't hear it, but if I called and then showed up, you'd be surprised. Even my laugh is like every time I laugh, someone somewhere gets audited.
There's this whole thing of, you don't sound black, you sound white sounding, whatever. A lot of those comics get that, whereas I don't, because I'm from England. This is how I can talk. Take it or leave it, Because I'm we're all black. We're all from the same place. We've all had similar experiences. Some of us are going to sound differently. Some of us have gone to different schools. Some of us have been brought up in different places. I don't understand why there's this whole thing. You don't sound like us, so you ain't one of us.
People might perceive somebody's blackness as not authentic versus someone else's. But I think that's a mistake, and I think it's a reduction of what it means to be black, and also it insults the intelligence of black audiences. The idea that, blackness is monolithic and looks a certain way, that's not true. But blackness is blackness, and I love that we're in a space where you have variances.
My parents are not very into feminism. They're very Christian, very conservative. Yes, black people can be ignorant too. My dad especially, he's like, you women with your yelling and your reading and your voting, and I get it, but feminism, it's not an option. It's vital if we want our society to improve in any regard, not just for women, regardless of gender at all. Yeah, for real, I shouldn't have to look in the mirror and hate myself because of the patriarchy and the male gaze, I should be able to look in the mirror, look at myself right in the eyes and hate myself because I'm a piece of shit and I deserve it, It's one for me.
What's it mean to be real? There are people that'll say, oh, this person isn't real because they ain't from the streets. That's not what that means. Am I not as real as some of my friends that are in jail right now? That makes no sense.
When I was on the Chappelle show, I was one created this sketch called Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. I was looking at my life and the people I knew, and every time I heard someone say something about keeping it real, and selling out. The definition of selling out, yo, that dude sold out. He got married, he got a wife, he got kids, he got a white picket fence. But all the keep it real shit was like, yo, remember Ray? He kept it real. He stabbed his mother. He doing 20 years. So if your definition of keeping it real is doing something negative, something that leads to violence, something that leads to you being incarcerated, guess what? I will not be the mother that keep it real. I mean, it's hard to say, like, what's real and what's not real. I think it's what speaks to your truth.
Great. Unfortunately, the orchestra is already filled up, but they do have seats that are still left in the dress circle. So if you want me to get them theater tickets right now, I'm gonna do it right now.
What's up, dog? I'm about 5 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool. No, they all good singers. They all good singers.
Yeah, son.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm about to cross the street.
No, they got
man.
that one dude in it that you love, man. He gonna be in it, yeah.
Come on, man. You know I'm almost there, all right?
Right, no, I'm gonna pick your ass up at 6:30
cool.
then. Cool. All right. Yeah. The parking's free. So they got that on lock.
Oh my God, Christian, I almost totally just got mugged right now.
I don't think Key and Peele are less authentic than Chappelle. I think they just had his show. They fit into a mold that, you know, whoever was looking for at the time, and they did it really well. And so it created this rivalry that doesn't really exist. I think Key and Peele are just as authentic as Chappelle is.
For Key and Peele, when I first started watching them, I wasn't a fan of what they were doing. I was like, oh, these aren't bars to me.
I feel like a lot of black people weren't checking for them because they looked at their identity as like, well, first off, they half black. Also, it feels like they're making fun of us.
You might look at something that they're doing and go, man, why would you do that sketch and, you know, give this sort of black thing to an audience of white people who are gonna watch you, and you know that we don't think like that. And I think that's probably why they got judged.
Well, I think if you go from the superficial look on the outside, you have both those guys that are both biracial, and then they married white women. So you lose your card right there, I think. However, their work is hilarious, and they do a lot of really black shit.
Looking back at it, I see that you have these two guys who are mixed and they have a different upbringing. So they're like, I'm not just trying to make black people laugh. And I'm not just trying to make white people laugh or Latino people laugh or Asian people laugh. I'm trying to make everybody laugh. And so I'm trying to do this through whoever is the butt of the joke, they can still laugh too.
They did a sketch on their show called Racist Zombies. The zombies were like... And when they came to the black people, they just walk around them.
What is that? They seriously wouldn't let her eat us.
Hey, guys. Isn't this great? These racist zombies are leaving us alone. Come on, we having a party. The beer is here. And look who I brought. Come on, man.
That was the funniest shit I ever seen.
Don't be so caught up in how authentic it is. Is it a good product? The same way Chappelle and Neil Brennan came up with what they came up with. Is Chappelle's shit any less authentic because him and Neil Brennan both did it together? No, it's brilliant. Key and Peele, from what they did, it's brilliant. They ain't stealing shit from nobody. These are their ideas. Give them boys the credit that they deserve because they came up with these ideas authentically.
That's the beautiful thing about all the new hats coming out. There's different points of view that a light wasn't shine on, early in the game. So, comedy, black comedy is in an exquisite spot right now.
I was listening to an interview with Larry Wilmore did, and they were talking about how he initially started out as a stand-up, but he couldn't break in because everyone then was kind of like the Def Comedy Jam, Comic View style. If I tried to come out 10, 15 years ago with this same style, it would be incredibly difficult for me.
I was standing in front of this restaurant, and I was waiting for my friend, and this one was like, "Excuse me, mama, sorry to interrupt you, but can I take a picture of you?" It's just like, "I love your hair, and I'll show my hairdresser like exactly what I want my hair to look like," which was like really nice, but kind of weird because she was a white woman, very straight hair. And I was like, "Oh, are you racist?" Or am I racist? Who's racist, But I took the picture. Hot girl summer. I tried. I really did try. But then later when I told my friend that story, she was like, no, that's a porn thing. That's a known porn thing. They're gonna Photoshop your image into some weird porn. I was like, wow. How bad is the porn industry doing? You know, like, really? Like, what porn entrepreneur's like, get us out to Queens. You find a tiny black woman, bad posture, hair like sideshow boblets. Get her in there! Yuck. I just feel like if anyone knows me, they know any realistic depiction of me in a pornographic film, it's just like, one second. Microphone was a dick. Did you get that AC/DC? But now, I think a lot of the black comics like Hannibal Buress have sort of changed what it means to be a black comic.
I was at a party last summer. One of my friends gave me half a pill of ecstasy. I took it. It was smooth. I was enjoying myself. I don't know what it was about this particular batch, but it made me okay with pissing myself. Like the whole thing. And I was in line for the bathroom, I had all intentions on going the right way. My heart was pure, but then all the liquid fell out of my body. The whole batch fell out of my body, and I think under normal circumstances, if I pissed myself, I would have said, damn it, I just pissed myself. It's time to get out of here. But there was something about the exit, you know what, I pissed myself, but guess what? I'm about to dance this shit dry. Yeah, it's very exciting. Some of my jokes have music cues, it's fun. I want to do that punchline again. Dance that shit dry. That's very exciting. Y'all should try comedy. This is one of the benefits of it. Dance that shit dry. No. I see a woman, she looks very confused by the situation. Don't worry, you're just watching a man living out his dream in that joke.
I don't know where you draw the line of what's real and what's not real, but I think the only way you can answer that is, again, like I said, is speaking your truth and what's true to you.
If you can be authentic, that's the thing that keeps you alive. And it shows that you have a soul. It shows you have a spirit. It shows that you are connected and that people will break bread with them. People won't break bread with you if they don't think you're authentic, if they think you're trying to be another person.
I think when it comes to comedy, there's a standard that black people hold to each other that's not realistic, because at the end of the day, it's like, are you funny? Do you make me laugh? Are you funny?
If you're authentic, people will take notice, whether they like you or they hate you. That's who you are, and people have to respect that. I'm gonna tell you guys something, because we're family. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something I'll tell a lot of people. I don't even feel black some days. I feel like an alien that snatched a black bite and didn't do any research at all, didn't do anything, didn't read a book, didn't watch a movie, doesn't know what Boys in the Hood is, but loves trains. Like, I don't know if I haven't had enough dates for a grown man or too many dates for someone who's autistic, because I'm definitely on the spectrum. I talk about sharks too much on the front end of the conversation.
If you're able to find new perspective, especially now in the oversaturation that is our media system, then God bless you. That's authentic. You were able to come up with a perspective that we weren't thinking, that wasn't touched on already. Kudos to you. We're comedians. We test perspective, and we give perspective.